and stone. Massive boulders, once carried within the ice, were dropped like pebbles. Broad expanses of granite were polished to a mirror finish, one that remains smooth to the touch. Immense valleys rimmed with sheer cliffs were cut from the bedrock. Weak stone was ground to rubble. The strongest survived the crushing onslaught of ice. Far more than monumental scenery, Half Dome and El Capitan mark the most important battles within Yosemite's ever-changing drama. Deep depressions carved from the granite eventually filled with water. Streams and creeks swept down sand and gravel, giving birth to lush meadows and finally, deep forest. Fire and ice, water and stone. Profound and delicate change brought forth the spirit of Yosemite. The once barren rock was now teeming with life. In 1868, a young naturalist began to read the story written in the rocks of Yosemite. His name was John Muir. He arrived shortly after Abraham Lincoln had signed the Yosemite Grant, and he kept coming back for the next 40 years.
Life seems neither long nor short, and we take no more heed to save time or make haste than do the trees and stars. This is true freedom, a good practical sort of immortality.
In Muir's time, only the Mariposa Grove and Yosemite Valley were protected. He came to understand that these were more than two distinct islands of beauty. They were two links in an unbroken chain of life which stretched from the highest mountain peak to the lowest foothill.
When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe.
Muir realized that without protecting the surrounding wilderness, the preservation of these two crown jewels could never be assured. Muir dedicated his life to the creation of a grand national park. His writings rallied others to the cause, and on October 1st, 1890, Yosemite's boundaries were dramatically enlarged. The national park was now more than 1,000 square miles and included the watersheds of two major rivers. Yosemite National Park is the lasting legacy of John Muir. John Muir lent an eloquent voice to the spirit of Yosemite, but his was not the first. Long before the first millennium, human beings arrived in Yosemite Valley. Different cultures would come and go, but in time, a people known as Awanichi would call Yosemite home. Like other Native Americans, they were decimated by the outside world. What little is known has been passed down by a few survivors. The Awanichi possessed a keen understanding of the natural forces which ruled their lives. Every autumn they set fire to Yosemite's meadows to encourage the growth of grasses, which were important for food and basket weaving. It was human beings who preserved the broad vistas which made Yosemite famous. Like every other force of nature before them, the Awanichi changed Yosemite forever. Yosemite's first people also knew that they were not alone. The granite spires and waterfalls were home to spirits. What is now called El Capitan is Tultacanula, the place where two bear cubs fell asleep and were lifted high above the valley. Half Dome is Tessiac, the face of a young woman stained with tears. And Bridal Veil Fall is Puhulu, a foreboding place where the voices of those who have drowned can still be heard. Thus, the Awanichi became the first people to lend a human voice to the spirit of Yosemite. In time, other voices would be heard.
Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their freshness into you and the storms their energy, while cares drop off like autumn leaves.
Thanks to those who walked here long ago, the spirit of Yosemite still reverberates in every rock and waterfall. Every canyon and every peak. It is at hand. Here. Now. If you walk quietly and listen carefully, you too can touch the same timeless spirit, the spirit of Yosemite.